Okay, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Tuesday edition of Morning Scone presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Parish Construction and Roofing. Remember, Brock Rock and Wine coming up Saturday, July 26th in Tiger Stadium. Get your tickets at brortho.com. Parish Construction and Roofing, if you need a roof, we'd love to help you out. Remember, sign up for the free no obligation roofing inspection. You're automatically entered to win $10,000 cash. Parishbuilt.com. Unique Physique, uniquephysique.com. Restored Motions, restoredmotions.com. And Bocock Brothers Premium Cigars. Code MATT15 for 15% off. Okay. Get rolling today, y'all. Tigers back in town. Got to visit with both Jay Johnson and Nate Yeske on AFR yesterday. Great convos with the both of them. You can catch both those on demand if you care to listen to them in totality. I think Jay's always very insightful and introspective. Does a really good job. And I appreciate that very much as a guy asking questions when someone takes the time to give you thoughtful, thorough answers. And Jay's always done that, so I appreciate that. And I thought Yeske was great too. The thing that really surprised me about Yeske was I guess I shouldn't say surprising, maybe just caught me off guard. I wasn't thinking that was where he would go, but he hang on. Coach Yeske, his father passed earlier this year, and he kind of got a little emotional in there talking about it. He's talking about being in the stands, looking where his dad would have been sitting, and you never know, like what what things mean to people. So anyway, I thought it was great. I really appreciate them. I mean, look, they landed in Baton Rouge. They've been gone for 11 days. They land in Baton Rouge at 2:15. They get their stuff off the plane. They get on a bus. They bus back to LSU. They're at the box at 3:00. And Jay came on the show at 5:15 and Yeske was at 5:30. So, I mean, within 2 hours of being home, like after being gone for almost 2 weeks, both of them are on the phone doing interviews. So I just appreciate them, man. Very much appreciate them. Anyway, so now we kind of turn the page, look ahead to next year. I mean, I'm not completely turning the page, obviously, but we're going to celebrate the championship. But this is a really important time right now because you have guys that are draft eligible that are obviously we're going to wait and see what happens with the draft here in a few weeks. And then we are going to the portal's still open, so I fully anticipate there are guys on the team who are with the team in Omaha that are going to go in the portal. I don't know names. I don't know anything definitively. I'm just playing the numbers, which is what happens everywhere. When your season ends, guys go in the portal, and there are guys in Omaha with the team through Omaha that are going to go in the portal. I don't know who, but anticipate that starting right to trickle out because guys have to figure out a place where they're going to go before all roster spots. One of the places are taken. They got to go play summer ball. All that stuff just becomes a real whirlwind. Like you don't have a lot of time to sit here and bask in the afterglow of the championship. Like these guys have to decide what they're doing next year. And then Jay's got to start building a roster as well. So they'll start hosting transfer, portal visits. And, then you obviously start looking toward the high school ranks and what guys are going to sign, what guys are going to be here and so on. So it never really slows down. They'll get to enjoy the championship celebration on Wednesday. And that'll be the last time I would imagine this entire team is together. So anyway, all right, please smash the like button if you would, subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, share the post. Glad you're with us here. Hey, Spurge, good morning. Tiger Diver, good morning. Now that we turn the page to football, what is LSU Deuce, it's missed off a quarterback from Texas. Yeah, so that's a bummer. That happened over the weekend while we were all locked into the championship series. So Bo Bentley, who was down to LSU in Oklahoma, picked OU. So LSU still does not have a quarterback commit for 2026. And that's a real problem because all the elite quarterbacks now are committed elsewhere. And you didn't sign a high school quarterback in this cycle, and now you don't have one committed for 2026. So I could take a guess. So we're going to have Shea Dixon on AFR today, and I'm sure he'll have an idea of this. But look, you go into 25, and you've got Nuss, Michael Van Buren, Colin Hurley. So Nuss will be gone. You go into 2020, the 2026 season. If both Van Buren and Hurley stay, then you got those two, but then nothing behind them, which means you're probably going into the portal to get some veteran depth. And 2027 then becomes even more imperative because 2027 is the massive quarterback class in Louisiana, right? Where you've got Elijah Haven at Dunham. You've got the quarterback from Evangel. Forgive me, I'm blanking on names. I'll know all these names by 2027 when I need to. So Haven, Peyton Houston is a quarterback from Evangel, and Malachi Ziegler from Benton. Those are all quarterbacks in Louisiana, and that's not even including Colton Nussmeier, Garrett's younger brother, who is in high school in Texas, who's also visiting LSU. So Elijah Haven is the number one quarterback in the country, according to On3. Peyton Houston is the number 8 quarterback in the country, and Malachi Ziegler is the number 9 quarterback in the country. So, I mean, you get 3 of the top 9 quarterbacks in the country in Louisiana for 27 in Louisiana. So, you got to feel good about getting at least one of them, right? So, yeah, maybe it's a thing where in 27 you end up taking 2. But if they don't get a quarterback for this cycle in 26, they'll be right back in the portal again. Probably looking for something like they got with AJ Swan. But I think the real issue that you run into, like the real question, is let's say Van Buren stays and wins the job. Does Colin Hurley leave? I mean, I think that's the real question you have. Hey, Jacob, good morning. Kelly, Thomas, Devin, what up, bro? Chef, good morning. Living Lambo, what's up? Good morning. Hey, John, good morning. How's Drew? Drew's great, living his best life. He's sleeping right now. Didn't have camp this week because we're leaving for the beach in a few days. Hey, Bubba, good morning. So Erica is off work today, and Eric and Drew are still sleeping. Hey, Casey, good morning. No Sweat Sports, don't know if you addressed this. Where does Maneri rank after this second title by Johnson? Where does he rank, like in LSU coaches' history? Well, and if you're going by titles, Skip, Jay, Paul. Josh Blackman, in regard to the transfer portal, do teams that make it to the CWS have a disadvantage since they don't know who is leaving and can't do visits for recruits? So, yeah, I mean, Josh, I asked that question to Josh Jordan on Friday. And Josh Jordan's LSU's recruiting coordinator. And I asked him that point blank. And he was like, yeah, good question. And it is, but it's just how you spin it. Because the best recruiting tool you have is winning a national championship. So you win the national championship, awesome, right? That's the best recruiting tool that you could have. But it does put you behind where other schools are hosting visits and you're not. And it was interesting. Do you remember during was it regionals or was it the supers when Yeski maybe it was after game 1 of the supers, Yeski was hosting recruits like a dinner because Ben McDonald told the story in the broadcast the next day. They're like, yeah, we're at dinner last night and who walks in? Nate Yeski with recruits. So like LSU wins game 1. The next day they're playing to punch their ticket to Omaha, and that night the pitching coach is at dinner with recruits. I mean, and he has to be. I mean, it's not a criticism. It's just like that just shows this. Like it's the disadvantage, if there is such a thing, of advancing. Of course, you want to, but it just does make all that part complicated. Hey, Ben, good morning. Great interview with Jay Johnson, Nate Yeski. Thank you, man. Yeah, it's just thanks to them. I mean, they're the ones who gave thoughtful, candid answers. I'll just get out of the way. Darren Bone, hearing about baseball transfer news coming. I've given you the two names from Oklahoma that I think LSU is in on. They've already added a couple of infielders via the portal as well. I think you're waiting to see if there's any other players nationally that go in the portal that they might be interested in. Hey, Patrick, good morning. Boone, Dockin, and Rockin, good morning. Thomas of Dasonia thought this was interesting. You like to mention 22 Ole Miss riding two pitchers to a title. Elliott and DeLucia through 52 and 2/3 postseason innings. Wow. Anderson and Einstein through 52 and 2/3. Good number. Thank you for doing that legwork, Thomas. I'll fact check you on it just to make sure it's right. But by the way, I don't like to mention DeLucia and Elliott. It's just a good comp because, and the thing is, that Ole Miss team, remember, wasn't a good team. The reason I kept bringing that up is because that Ole Miss team was literally the last team to earn an at-large berth in that field. Like they were the last at-large team in the field. So they almost didn't even make the field. And then they went to won the national title because they rode those two guys straight through the winner's bracket all the way through the postseason. So you can do it on the backs of two arms if you stay in the winner's bracket. Hey, Admiral, but good number. Brad, good morning. Why do you never see football coaches get thrown out of games while it's common in baseball? That's a good question, man. They just get 15-yard penalties and then they shut up because I guess there's no other method of recourse. Like in basketball, you get a technical foul, and so it'll get them to pipe down. In football, they'll get a 15-yard penalty, and then they pipe down. Tommy Blanco, good morning. Fat Boy Slim, good championship. Morgan Tigers, how about the Standard? They're incredible, man. Chance, great interview with Johnson and Yeski. Forgot about Yeski's dad passing. That had to be emotional for him. Yep. Hey, Steve, good morning from Pensacola. Dance Nationals is my daughter. Not bragging, just saying it's still just a great day to be a Tiger. Have a good one. Love it, Steve. Hope y'all have a great time down in Nationals, man. Enjoy. Hey, Dakota, good morning. Did you do the genetic methylation test with Gary Brecken? I did. Dakota, very candidly. And so there's two of them because they've introduced a new one that's like $1,000 or something. I did not do that one. I have no idea. I did the one that's like $500. And I did it more than a year ago. And when you get the results, it gives you your whole, like all of your results and what your recommended supplementation plan is. And so I've followed that to a T since then. But I did, yes. I did the 10X genetic methylation test. I did. It was like $500. I did it for me, Drew, Erica. I think Erica's mom did it as well. So yes. Hey, Sean, good morning. How can any player listen to those two interviews yesterday not run to LSU? Great insight, true passion for LSU. Thomas, locked on Sunbelt, bad-mouthing LSU in our fan base. Guys, what did he say? I didn't hear. Old Dave, old Schultzy. Tiger Poppy, good morning. Hey, C-Mac, what's good, man? Yeski interview is excellent. No coach peak, genuine insight, not a typical assistant coach interview, remarkable perspective. Yeah, what'd you like the most about it, Chris? I'm curious. I did love his answer, too, about Kade, because I asked him about Kade Anderson's progression year to year, but then also Saturday, it was like, did you know, like, could you sense it was going to be that kind of day for him? He said, no, actually, in the bullpen before the game, he was kind of spraying it a little bit. That's incredible. Dave Schultz knocking the fan base. What's he talking about? What's Schultz talking about? Hey, Tommy, watching Snall in his post-game interview whining and literally holding back tears is a tough watch. Hey, Brent, good morning. Shelby, morning. Yesterday you said you could listen to Jay talk all day. I say that all the time. He's a special communicator. When you combine that with his work ethic knowledge, you get an all-timer. I think the thing that I'm not looking at it from a player's or recruit's perspective. I don't have that perspective, obviously. I just look at it from I know what I do on my show. I mean, if you think of it this way, I've done AFR now for 15 years. I average 2 to 3 guests a day. So let's say 10 to 15 interviews per week. And I do roughly 250 shows a year. So if you do 250 shows a year times 3 interviews per show, that's 750 interviews a year times 15 years. That's 11,250 interviews that I've done on AFR, roughly, rough numbers. At this point, I know what's good and what's not. Like, I know when a guest is engaged, when they're not, when it's good for the audience, when it's not, when I can extend, when I should just dump out of it early. Like, you know what's good and what's not. And Jay, whenever he's on those interviews, he does his best to actually give you something concrete, which I always appreciate. It's not just regurgitated coach speak talking points. Like, he will actually, he'll try. I mean, I asked him about the quiet moments, and he told the story about going back to his room and putting the trophy on. Someone put the trophy on the table in his room, and he looked at it and was like, "That's pretty sweet." I mean, like, those types of things are really cool. He told the story. I asked him for a little more detail on Dickinson's handmade bone. If you missed that, he said that it happened against Little Rock. Dickinson didn't say anything the next day when they beat Dallas Baptist 12-0. The next day, he came to Jay and was like, "I broke my hand. It really hurts, but I'll play through it as long as I'm better than whoever the next guy is." Which is a great story. I mean, that's going to be part of the lore, right? Gregory Gordy, good morning. Thomas, here you go. Boudreaux, Locked on Sunbelt guy, saying we bought the title. Maybe I got to go listen to see what Dave said. I haven't listened to what Dave said. But it's just stupid to say you bought a title. I mean, come on. It's the NIL portal era. And I've told you all this before. Texas A&M, Arkansas, Georgia, Tennessee all had higher NIL budgets this year than LSU. It's not to say LSU is a poverty program. They're not. They're very resource rich. But there were other teams. Like, I mean, you wanted Zach Root. He ended up at Arkansas. You wanted Gavin Keelan. He ended up at Tennessee. But, I mean, come on. Hey, Chance, do you see Schmidt making this similar jump as Anderson? That is a lot to ask, Chance. But the similarities are there, and we've talked about them all year, is in that you have a guy with the undeniable stuff. It's just about refinement. And I think that was one of the other things Yeski talked about in that interview yesterday. That was really good. Hey, Ronnie, last chemo today. Awesome, man. Head up, man. Head up. Get through it. We're pulling for you. We'll say prayers that it's a great day, man. Go get them. Survivor's remorse, people who complain about coach being thrown out in the first are like people who don't want refs to throw flags in game-winning drives. Rules are rules no matter what time. Yeah, I don't disagree. Mark Towery, is there really a point? What I just want is consistency. Paying a high school quarterback a bunch of NIL, one of our most successful quarterbacks were from the portal. That's the argument, Mark. But the flip side I could tell you also is Garrett Nussmeier was a high school kid who came and stayed. I don't disagree. What I worry about, whatever, is let's say you don't get a quarterback in this class and you go into the 26th season, and then either Van Buren or Hurley leave. You're in a pinch trying to find a quarterback probably next portal window, next spring portal, and you don't have depth. You're kind of where you were in 2018 when Burrow came in. Remember, you had Burrow, and then both Lowell Narcisse and Justin McMillan left. And so you had Burrow and second year Miles Brennan. That was it. I mean, so you were just dangerously thin. So that's the situation that you fear could unfold. Hey, Gulf South, in response to Jay's comments about Cade's next pitch being with the Nationals, in an on-field interview, Cade said he doesn't know where he's going. Could be back in purple and gold. Why say that? I'll tell you this. We had Cade in studio before they left for Omaha. If you remember, it was Cade, Milam and Bear Jones. And I kind of asked Kade a little bit, and he wouldn't. I threw the lure into the water to see if he would bite. He didn't, and I get it. Like they're not gonna. He's being advised not to say anything. Which is fine. But what I do know from people close to him and close to the program, like he loves LSU, and I actually had somebody tell me Kade wishes his birthday was a week later so he could come back. I mean, what's Kade, 19, 20 years old? Oh, I guess he's 20. Well, I guess he's 20. He's about to be 21, of course. Draft eligible. Not everybody's ready. Not everybody's ready for that. And I guess it's got to be hard. Like when you love what you're doing now, like you're at LSU, you make good money already. You want a championship. You're dominating. You could love college. You love your teammates. I mean, you love your coaches. Like it's a really good thing. Like you don't want to leave, but you got to. I mean, you're going to be the first pick of the draft. You got to go. And he's going to. Hey, Caleb, good morning. Mark, R.I.P. Big Lee and Metairie Bonneville Boulevard. I'm sorry, I'm not sure what Big Lee is. Sorry. Or who that is. Sorry. Chris, Club, Tommy, Eric. Does the now full baseball roster of scholarships reallocate a significant amount of money, NIL money to signing players? Do you think this hurts or helps relative to other teams? So remember, Eric, we are now out of the NIL space and into revenue share. So all NIL now has to be true NIL. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. And I'm gonna do that. That's a good reminder. I need to do a segment on that. I need to get some answers on the rev share budget for baseball, how they supplement with true NIL, how that impacts this class, all that stuff. Mark, still with the Bobby Aber autograph from New Orleans East gas station. I gotta find it, Mark. If I ever find it, it's yours, brother. I'm telling you. It might be in my attic. I think I have it. But if I ever find it, I promise. If I ever find it, it's yours. Maybe, no, this weekend I'll be at the beach. I'll say, you know what? I'm off work next week. So we leave for the beach Thursday. We're gone, come back. But even when we come back, I took off all next week, the week of the 4th. So I'll have some time at home that I'll go digging for it. Spurge, that's true. Who back up Nussmeier this year? The Van Halen, yeah, Van Buren, yeah. Caleb, pitcher from Baylor, committed to Texas A&M. A&M's a good program, lots of resources. Hey Matt, good morning. Sure, you were asked, will teams be going after Yeski? It's a good question, man. I'm sure he'll get a head coaching job eventually. It is kind of odd, though, whenever you have a guy that's been so successful at 4 different stops. I mean, Oregon State, Arizona, Texas A&M, LSU, 4 stops, pitching coach, won 2 national titles, been to Omaha at all 4 places. Like, the fact that he hasn't gotten that opportunity yet is a bit odd, candidly. You kind of look at it almost like a Brent Venables situation where, he's a great coordinator for so long. It's like Mike Denbrock. Great coordinator for so long. Like, when does he get the opportunity? Alex, get to see my first game in Tiger Stadium this year. Awesome. Which game are you going to, man? Matt, baseball will lose a majority of their home run production. Who's a guy you think could drastically increase their home run numbers next season? Jake Brown, if he's back, would be the most obvious answer. I know you'll think of him. But again, he was in a platoon and still hit, I think, 8 on the year. He's got power at all fields. You give that guy 250 at bats, he'll be a 15, 20 homer guy. And remember, you're also the 2 infielders you brought in via the portal are also home run hitters. And remember, Eddie Yaman, redshirted this year. He could very well be your first or third baseman next year, depending on what happens with Ethan Fry. And then Kade Anderson would be the other. The two I'd give you most obviously would be Jake Brown and Kade Anderson. Anderson is going to start, and if Brown's back and gets 250 at bats, he'll be a 15-20 homer guy. Hey, Rocky. Gregory, y'all need a diving board for the pool. No way, dude. Does anybody have diving boards anymore? If you were All-American in the 3 male sports, which coach would you choose to play for and why? Your choice of coaches, any coach in LSU history. Oh, you don't mean like in sports, like in college today. You just mean like any of the LSU coaches in football, baseball, basketball? Football would be Saban. Baseball would be Skip. Basketball would be Dale. If I'm understanding your question correctly. Christian, good morning. Over under 1.5 for baseball national championships in the next 5 years. The fact that I even have to think about it is something, because that's such like, I mean, just think LSU went 14 years between titles from 9 to 23 and 9 years between titles from 2000 to 2009. It's not easy. Jay's making it look easy, but it's not easy. Next 5 years. I mean, he won 2 and 4. I mean, I want to say under because I don't want to be unrealistic, but I mean, I think the better question is, does he win another one in the next 5 years? And if he does, that's amazing. Go Tigers. Let's see, Jordan. Is there a reason Anderson wasn't one of 3 finalists for Golden Spikes? I mean, he wasn't the SEC Pitcher of the Year.
Parish Construction and Roofing. At Parish, we've got you covered. From the top of your roof, all the way down. Parish Construction and Roofing. Parish built. Parish built. Parish built. From your hometown. ParishBuilt.com.
Parish Construction and Roofing, ParishBuilt.com. Do business for someone you know. So Liam Doyle was SEC Pitcher of the Year, remember. So, and if I'm not mistaken, Ianson was the one who was a semifinalist for Golden Spikes, not Anderson. I think Cade can be the best pitcher in the country, led the country in strikeouts, but first pick in the draft and all, there's just different things that go into that and how people vote and whatnot. Whatever. Hey, Manny. Chris, did we lose out on Bentley? Why are we talking about a transfer? Yeah, so Bentley on Saturday picked Oklahoma. We just all ignored it because we're waiting for LSU to win the national championship. Is Guidry in the mix to be a starter in 26? So he was preparing this offseason to try to earn a rotation spot this year. Excuse me. I don't know if it would have worked, if he would have stuck and earned a spot. I don't know. The real challenge is just look at your numbers. With Evans coming back, Cowan potentially coming back, Newt probably coming back, Schmidt. We'll see what happens with a guy like Connor Ware. That doesn't even include the guys, Rizzy, Williams. That doesn't include the guys you have coming in. and transfer portal additions because you're going to add a starting pitcher via the portal. They've done it every year that Jay's been here. Like they're going to add starting pitching via the portal. So how do you fit it? You have, when he won't have pitched competitively in a year and a half, how do you just assume he's going to be right in the mix? I think it's really tough. Does he come back to be a reliever? Maybe. Does he go to the portal to try to be a starter? Maybe. Does he just come back to LSU as whatever role just because he loves LSU and then takes a shot in pro ball, whatever, wherever, however that looks like? Maybe. I don't know. That's a difficult one. Hey, Devin, hope to make Jay Johnson the highest paid coach in the country. If he's not, he'll be close. Trevon, we got the same college teams, rivals in the NFL. Alex, do you think LSU has a high chance on beating Texas A&M? In football this year? Yeah, games in Baton Rouge. LSU will be favored. They should win. Rocky, Jay winning 2 titles along with Mulkey's title isn't lost on BK considering they were all hired at the same time. Expect a great season for football Tigers this season. Eugene, bonjour. Been blowing my car horn to the LSU fight song here in sunny South Philly. Ryan Broom, good morning. Taylor, not sure if it's been asked how many teams have gone undefeated in Omaha. Undefeated in Omaha isn't that rare. Undefeated, like, throughout the entire postseason is. And as a matter of fact, I got a text yesterday from my buddy old Ray Wright, right fielder from the 2000 national champions. And Ray sent me this. In NCAA Division I men's baseball history, only 2 teams have completed an undefeated postseason, meaning they won every game in the NCAA tournament without a loss. And that's since the Super Regionals came into effect in 1999. The 2 are Arizona, the Wildcats in 2012, and the LSU Tigers in the year 2000. Undefeated postseason. (2000) might be the most talented LSU baseball team ever. I mean, Jorgensen was a big leaguer. Cressy didn't make the big leagues, but he won the Johnny Bench Award. Haup was a big leaguer. Fontenot, big leaguer. Terrio, big leaguer. Cedric Harris would have been. I think Ced made it to AAA. Talent was a big leaguer. Shane Newman was a big leaguer. Brian Wilson was a big leaguer. Trey Hodges was a big leaguer. I mean, that 2000 team might have been the most talented one. Maybe in time, 23 will surpass it. Skeens and Cruz are already in the show. You obviously had the 2 top tier guys with Skeens and Cruz, but we'll see. If Trey Morgan gets there, if Tommy White gets there, if Ty Floyd gets there, if Jordan Thompson gets there, we'll see. But 2000 may be the most talented team LSU ever had. I mean, 09 had Coleman, Renato, Austin Nola, DJ Matuk. It's 5. Was Matt Clark? Who am I missing? Matt Clark. I can't remember if Matt Clark played on 09 if his last season was 08. I think Matt Clark, his last year was 08. So Clark was a big leaguer, but I think he was gone. Yeah, Clark just played the 08 season. So Clark wasn't on 09. Anyway, I think 2000 Like this one might challenge that. We'll see. Hey, Manny Terry's explanation on why the Coastal Carolina coach was outstanding. Everyone who's ever played the game knows he was spot on. Yeah, by the way, those videos are at the Parish Construction and Roofing social media at Parish Built. I've been going over there and video Ontario doing baseball explanation stuff. Those videos pop off. I mean, smart baseball guy. Hey, Charles, why is Hammond hotter than a 3-ball Tomcat right now? Rocky, lots of whining on Locked on Sunbelt yesterday. So I heard. Derek, no more baseball. Football didn't start for a month and a half. I don't know what to do with my time now. Well, remember, it's not exactly true. So 4th of July is next week. So we will bask in the afterglow of the title this year. But I'm going to the beach. 4th of July is next week. The week after that, we chill. And then the week after that is SEC Media Days. So July 14th, we are at SEC Media Days. And that's a full week of football talk. Then the week after that, the Saints report for training camp. And then the week after that, LSU reports for fall camp. So we're almost in it. Is it time to compare AD, Skip to Woody? I think ultimately, your successes are still going to be judged upon the football coach hire. Scott Woodward's going to be judged based on what happens with Brian Kelly. So, Damon Gilmore, Schultz's use ever excuse there. I have not listened to Dave. I don't know what he did. This is probably also the most attention Dave Schultz has ever gotten. And I love Dave, but Dave was a Lafayette radio guy who then went to Mobile. He lives in Kentucky now and does Locked on Sunbelt. But like I would imagine, this is the most that anyone has ever mentioned Dave Schultz on this show. And I love Dave. He might be watching right now. And Dave does a great job. It's like we don't focus on Sunbelt stuff here ever. So it's just funny. He and I do a crossover episode and just like that, boom. Yeah, how about that? That was cool. Yeah, no doubt, man. Thanks, C-Mac. Appreciate it. I realize I'm like 20 minutes behind on comments. Sorry, y'all. Yeah, Zachary, the thing about Ethan Fry is he was injured last year. And it's one of the things that Jay doesn't disclose injuries. Even when Shores had Tommy John, like he never even really disclosed that he had Tommy John. The hamate bone with Dickinson, Fry last year. So, you see a guy struggle a little bit and you're like, what's going on? And then you find out later. And a lot of it makes sense. So real quick, Golf South said, don't do the 10X test now. Brucker got pushed out of his own company. That's not actually true anymore, Golf South. So they made amends. They did a podcast together if you want to go check it out. And Brecca's back in TEDx. So Brecca did the interview on Patrick Bet-David's podcast and kind of went scorched earth. And then they got together and kissed and made up. So go check out. I mean, I get they were doing damage control after that, but go if you have any interest. Brecca and Cardone did an episode together where they talked through all that stuff. So take it for what it's worth. But they're working together again. Stat Dub, SC Network will air Celebration tomorrow night at 8 Central. Cool. C-Mac with Yeski. It's impressive to watch him take the guys from throwers to pitchers. It's so interesting, man. Like, at the beginning of this season with all the walks, like I kind of want to go back through my text line and Twitter. Let me just search Yeski on my text line, see what comes up. David Laborde, Yeski is ASS. Justin Surrett, doesn't help having Yeski call 2 waste pitches every AB to get 3 balls. William Barry, at what point do we accept Nate Yeski is not what we thought he was? LSU Michael Scott, Yeski needs to earn his salary. Cameron Gaspard, Yeski might have been a mistake. Yeah. Dev, Yeski has been underwhelming to say the least. Mm-mm-mm. Somebody just added me in a tweet. Hayes Fawcett, safety Rael Kelly is flipped from Rutgers to Alabama. They're flipping dudes from Rutgers. they're flipping 185-pound safeties from Rutgers. I love that everybody just ats me in those tweets all the time. Oh, man. Oh, man. Bryson, thoughts on Derek Curiel? I think I can't wait to see what it looks like if he develops a power stroke. He ran a few out this year, but that's the only thing missing. It was interesting too. Like I have talked to some scouts who said like they don't think Curiel projects as a center fielder. Maybe that the glove's a little overrated and the speed isn't great. Interesting. I thought he played really well in left field, but typically if you want to hide your weakest defender, you hide him in left. I'm not saying they were hiding Curiel, to be clear. I just think that's where he played, right? I mean, you had Jake Brown in right as a left-hander, and you had Stanfield in center, who was pretty good in center this year. I'm not saying anything negative about Curiel, but anyway, I just thought that was interesting to hear. I mean, I think he will be LSU center fielder next year. To be very clear, I think Curiel will be LSU center fielder next year. But I'll be very, very curious to see what it looks like when he starts developing the power. And remember, he'll be draft eligible sophomore next year. So you got one more year with Curiel because he will be going after next year. I can't believe everybody's going after Schultz here. Y'all are crazy. Kyrie, I'm really disappointed in John Jones, but I'm not surprised. I've been disappointed in John Jones for the last decade. He's the greatest pound for pound fighter ever, but we also collectively got cheated out of watching what could have been if he had stayed clean, stayed on the straight and narrow. I mean, nobody ever beat him in the ring, in the octagon. He's the greatest fighter ever. But, but for his issues with drugs, his arrests, in and out of the sport, if we had seen a consistent 2 or 3 fights per year for John Jones over this last decade, he would be far and away the most dominant figure this sport has ever seen. And it would be like a Tom Brady, Michael Jordan type level of reverence. LSU baseball will have had 4 top 6 draft picks the last 4 drafts. After Cade gets drafted, LSU football has had a top 5 draft pick each year, except 2024, with 2 being quarterbacks. LSU on a great run. We are lucky to be living in this era, no doubt. How many titles would JJ have to win to qualify to be in Skip's league? 5. Ed Sheeran. Yeah, I don't think Shores is coming back. I think Shores' postseason put everyone on alert of what he was capable of. Like the Shores we saw at the end of the season was the guy we always thought he would be when he showed up. And unfortunately, Tommy John derailed that. And then this year it just took a ramp up period for him. But my goodness. I mean, I said this on air yesterday, and people think it's like blasphemy, but he is one more breaking pitch away from being Paul Skeens. I mean, I get it. Paul Skeens is the best pitcher on the planet. I get it. But Shores is out there throwing 101 with horizontal break. He's got a 90-mile-an-hour wipeout slider. Like, if he develops a breaking ball, he's Paul Skeens. And he's already had TJ. I mean, unreal. Anyway. All right, y'all. Please smash the like button if you would. Subscribe to the channel. Facebook, like the page, share the post. Gulf South said, let's be fair. For the first half of the season, LSU had, 5 solid arms could be trusted. Bullpen has had issues the last 2 seasons. Yes, could come through in the end. So, but Gulf South, that's the, I mean, you're here most every day, so you've heard me say this. The season is an evolution. You spend the first 4 to 6 weeks trying to figure out who you have and in what roles. Like, it's a lot of learning, especially when you have so many new players every year. So you're learning who you can count on and in what roles. It's not fun watching a freshman walk 6 guys in March, but you're learning who you can count on. So when you get to May and June, you know who the 7 or 8 guys you're going to count on. We say this every year. That's all it is. Like, you're just going through that early in the season to find out who you're going to count on in SEC play, and then when you get beyond it. Anyway, all right, I got to get out of here. Thanks for being here, man. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, share the post. All of our sponsors linked in the description on YouTube, tagged on Facebook. Hey, remember, Brock Rock and Wine is coming up on Saturday, July 26th. Get your tickets at brortho.com. It's in South Stadium Club at Tiger Stadium. It's food, it's tons of wine and other beverages, live music, auction, all that good stuff. And you're in the South Stadium Club of Tiger Stadium. What an awesome, if you've never been up there, awesome place for an event. It's Brock Rock and Wine coming up on Saturday, July 26th. This is the kind of question I'm here for. Enough sports. What's your preferred bourbon and an old fashioned? Wrong question, Patrick. The question should be, what's your preferred whiskey in an old fashioned? Because an old fashioned is meant to be made with rye whiskey. So if you have never had a rye old fashioned, one, you're doing it wrong. And I would recommend Sazerac Rye. I think it's perfect. It's 90 proof, spicy, it's delicious. It's great to drink neat, rocks, or in a cocktail. So the answer is Sazerac Rye Old Fashioned. All right, y'all have an awesome day. Locked on LSU's Live, AFR 3.